Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Street Level Strategies. I'm Bobbi Jo, and today I am joined by Greg Watson, loan officer, producing branch manager, SVP, all the amazing titles. He's a rock star. Greg, thank you for joining me today. How are you doing?
Great. Thanks so much for having me.
Awesome. Well, Greg, I'm super excited to have you on today because I know, last year I came on site, we talked and really got to talking about Total Expert and the ways that we can take Total Expert to the next level. And so now you being with Go Mortgage for a while now and starting back in January is really, I think, when you took off and you said, hey, I'm really going to invest and start getting Total Expert to, work for me, work for my business. And I really want to talk today about how, you go from nothing to where you are today and the steps that you've took and the way that Total Expert has benefited you and your business. So that's where we're going to go today. But first off, do you mind just doing a quick little introduction to yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm Greg Watson. As we just mentioned, I've been in the lending side of things for about 22 years. Got in 04 with Countrywide, retail side, full spectrum lending. Did that for a bit. In 08, 09, when the markets crashed, I went out on my own to the broker side. And then eventually, after a couple of years of that, into the independent mortgage banking side. So I've been there for over 10 years now. So
Did it
doing my
all.
thing, originating, branch out of Pennsylvania, licensed in 18 states, full operations, the whole nine. So yeah.
Yeah, you're awesome. And how big's your team that you manage, Greg?
So we're 8 right now. So it's
Okay.
4 on the sales side, 4 on the ops side. Yeah,
Okay.
closing,
Awesome.
processing, underwriting, and then sales and LOAs. Yep.
How long have you been leading branch manager?
Yeah, so 2008-ish when
Okay.
we, when in 07, I think is when everything kind of went down, at Countrywide, and then, dipped out of that and into the broker side. So I've had the branch since 2008. Yeah.
Awesome.
Couple of the
Awesome.
guys that started on the sales side are still with me. So it's been a long ride. It's been a lot of fun, and some great relationships. Looking for some better times, moving forward
Yeah.
here in the market. But yeah, we've had some fun. It's been a tough couple of years, but I think there's some more fun coming up soon. So
For sure.
yeah,
And one of the things that we're going to get into today is, again, what you're saying is kind of prepping for when that happens, right? And one of the best
yeah,
things that you can do as an originator, and especially what you've done, is you said, okay, I didn't have the journeys, the automation, the stuff set up for me before, but my hope is that now that I do, it's continually nurturing the client until the time that they are and when the market changes. And so I'm ready. And I think that that is the key piece, right? Is that you've now said, and I want you to talk a little bit about what you've done, but at Total Expert, one of the biggest things, right, we talk about is the customer journey, making sure that from the point that that lead comes in all the way till they turn into they're in process with you, all the way to post close, right? And,
yeah,
and that retention piece, making sure that the automation is in place so that it's constantly nurturing that client, but it's also enabling you, the loan officer, to jump into that conversation when it's necessary. And so I want you to talk a little bit about, I know there's kind of two pieces to that, like the top of funnel lead nurture, and then also the post close. I know you've done a lot of work to say, hey, I need to make sure I have this automation set up. So talk to me about A, what you did, and B, why you decided that's so important for your business right now.
yeah. So when I met you back in earlier this year in January, and we
Yeah.
kind of you did the little presentation on the software and everything else. And one of the things at the time was that forward looking, I was concerned about was the stuff we were originating and being able to attack that when
Yep.
the market changed. So the first thing when I got into Total Expert that I did was looked at my existing post close journey, which was at the time was like one email on the 1 year anniversary. And obviously, in my opinion, that wasn't enough. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to make sure that obviously the relationship that we were creating on the front and during that process up to settlement didn't just end at settlement. What I wanted to do was remain front of mind, be the point of contact for them for any loan servicing questions, escrow questions, whatever. And then we ended up setting a 6-month review, an annual review, and then
Love it.
every 6 months moving forward, just to basically educate as to where you started isn't necessarily going to be the same. Not everybody knows that the interest rate market moves like the stock market.
Yeah.
It's up, it's down. And so the goal there is to educate, but also to remain in contact,
Yep.
in hopes that when the market starts to change and rates start to go down, that we're front of mind, and then we're getting first crack at the refinance business. So that was, the first thing I thought about when, after we had met, was implementing that. So that's really the first place I started. The other area that we were struggling with at the time was pre-approvals, went from 60 to 90 days
Right.
they went from, before the, 2021 and before, 60 to 90-day pre-approved person, you had to keep their attention for that period of time. And that went to
Yeah.
6 months, 9 months, a year. And what I realized was we're having trouble staying in front of those people. It was inconsistent. We weren't staying in front of them all the time. So the next piece was that pre-approved journey, remaining in front of them. So I mentioned this to you. I attacked that journey to almost double what the touches were. I think it was like 12 touches over 3 months. We ended up taking it to 40 touches over 9 months, and then dripping off a little bit after that. But on top of really increasing the amount of touches on that journey, what I did was, it was important to me to have the personal touch. I
Right.
just didn't want everything to be automated and seem automated.
Yeah.
And so at certain milestones, like let's say for a pre-approved person, it was 30 days, that would then dump. We created a line so that it would dump into tasks. And
Yep.
tasks need to be manually cleared. So that would be,
Yep.
a phone call, a text, a personal touch, check in. How are you? How are things going? What are you struggling with? How can I help? And really, since we implemented that, number one, it's been really manageable. I was a little bit
Yeah.
concerned that it would be a lot every
It'd be
day, but
overwhelming. Yeah.
it's about a dozen contacts that I make of that nature per
Yeah.
day. But we've, the amount of response that we get from people on a regular basis. I mean, I had 6 triggers today that were 180-day check-ins.
Hmm.
Every single one of those people I spoke with or got a text back from, which really is incredible. If I was to just
Hmm.
let that go without any of this software set up, there's no chance I'm getting
No.
that
And
response
who
rate.
and who thinks that the likelihood of them actually responding to you after, and I think that's the key that you're talking about, is the consistency of the touch point. Because you could, they could come in as a lead, or, they get pre-approved and you're still waiting. And if you don't follow up in a consistent method, right? Who knows who they're also going to, and who they're
Right.
also talking to, and who they're getting education from. So the fact that you're able to set up, as you're saying, you've put them into tasks, and it's fairly manageable to be able to say, hey, it's time to check in with this person at this point in time. And then, because who knows, if down the road if you didn't communicate them within 60 days, who knows what happens, right? And that lead then does fall through the cracks and goes with someone else, or is not picking up your phone call. But the fact that they are, to me, is a clear testament that the consistency is really the power there.
Well, and even if they do, think about it, right? I mean, most of our competitors don't have detailed follow-up
No.
like we've created here. So really, it's just a matter of me outlasting someone. So I'm going to follow up every 30 days. They might not respond to me for 3 months.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden I get 5 months, 6 months, and I get responses from people, and
Yeah.
we update stuff. We can see, who's run their credit and stuff like that. So
Yep.
really, sometimes it's not even necessarily blocking out competition. It's just outlasting them. And when you
100%.
have these stopgaps put in place for you, really it's just a matter of executing on it. And I kind of kick myself. It's funny because, it's always like, what do they say? The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The next best
Right.
time is today. Like I kick myself that I wasn't operating
Doing this before.
to this. I wasn't micromanaging the prospects like I should have
Hmm.
been,
Yeah.
before I started, which,
Yeah.
is what I kick myself over. But
Yeah.
that-
You know
that's
what?
what it is.
It's interesting because I've talked to multiple originators, and the originators who there's only a few originators that I know of who do a really good job of what you're talking about, especially is nurturing up front, right? The pre-approval to the point that they actually are ready to buy. It's actually not as many people as you think who can actually say that they really beat that lead, right? They really go after that lead, whether it be 10 touch points, and you're saying 40, right? Like within
Yeah.
a period of time. But the success that they have over the competition, because they have done that, they will outlast the
Yeah.
competition, right? And I think that is the key. And so for folks who don't have that up front, I'd encourage people to think about what that timeline looks like. For every originator, it's going to be different, but they should have a process up front to manage their pre-approvals and their leads coming through. Despite if you use Total Expert or not, I recommend it. And as you're saying, one of the things, right, is being able to just dump in a task every single day. You can then go to the system and you've got your list of tasks, you make your phone calls. And honestly, I'd ask you, how long does that take? I mean, you're making phone calls all day, every day, right? And what, an hour a day where you make 8 phone calls? I mean, 30 minutes.
It's not, I mean, it's not even. I mean, unless,
Yeah.
you know, you get somebody, and
Deeper conversation.
you know, nowadays no one answers the phone. So
Right.
it's
Quick
a
text.
call, no one answers, and it's just a text. Hey, just tried you.
Yep.
Wanted to check in. Hope you're
Yep.
well. If you need anything, hit me
Yep.
up. Give me a call back, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really casual. It's really just, it's a follow up. Hey, just want to stay in front of you. I'm not trying to annoy you. But people, you know, people, like I said, like, you know, you'll have people that don't respond for 2 months in a row, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
boom, right? And
100%.
so it works. I mean, like, again, I think the biggest thing in this market, and it's been like this for at least the past year and a half, is
Yeah.
just outlasting. You know, just staying in
Yeah.
there, understanding that, you know, the people that are in the market to buy, it's just not happening quickly.
Yeah.
And you know, they're probably frustrated about it. They're emotional. They get off, and then they get back on, and then they're off and
Yeah.
back on. And really, it's just, if there's, you know, what I wanted to do is just be able to stay there through that
Yeah.
journey. And it really just, once they actually come around, there's a relationship that's been built. You know, there's a trust that's been built, and it's a lot easier to deal with, frankly, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
For sure. I didn't ask this before, but have you implemented this process with your team, or is this just something that over the course you've explored with just yourself right now?
No, I mean, so my sales team's 4 people, so they're all implemented the same thing. So we have LOs, LOAs, and everybody just, you know, it's a system that works. All of the journeys are set up for everybody on the sales side. All of the LOAs and LOs that are attacking it
Yeah.
are approaching it the same way. The tasks are done. Everything that I've done for my own database is the same for my sales. Yeah.
Awesome. So you all can just kind of work through those. You have a process where you're saying, hey, check in 30 minutes, do those tasks, make those phone calls. Then you can kind of move on with your day, right? Move on to
100%.
bigger
Yeah. I
and
mean,
better.
I
Yeah.
mean, usually the best thing is just, you know, I got young kids, so I'm up
Yeah.
early. I go in, I hit tasks, go through all them, see
Yep.
what I need to do. It's usually not met, as long as I'm on top of it. Now, if I let it go for 3 days, then, you know, I got
It piles
2
up.
hours of work. But yeah, if you stay on top of it first thing in the morning, hit them, clear them out, make your touches, and then you're on with your day. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Well, Greg, thank you so much for just talking about the way that you've, really taken Total Expert to the next level. I love hearing that. Also, just the way that you've really dove into journeys and leveraged the automation, the human touch, the task, the system to manage your day. We love to hear it. I love that, ever since our conversation, it's really, really made an impact in your business and your team's business. So with that being said, thank you so much for being on today. Hopefully I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks, Greg.
Take care.